And now I will introduce Ms. Wendy Williamson, the Director of Study Abroad.
Good afternoon. I'm here to promote Study Abroad. And I thought about how I could convince you that you should think about studying abroad very seriously while you're here at Eastern. So I have a question for you. How many of you know who you are? I mean, really know who you are. Raise your hand. And on this side of the room as well. Okay. Not very many hands went up. Okay. All right. How many of you know why you're here at EIU? Raise your hand. Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, I saw more hands there. Okay, that's a good sign. I think one of the reasons why you're here at EIU is to get an education. And the word education, it actually came out of the 16th century. There was no word for education before the 16th century. And there are two different Latin roots for the word education, which I found very interesting in doing my research for this presentation. One is educare, and that means to train or to mold. And the other one is educere, which means to lead out. In one capacity, you're here at EIU to be trained and molded, but there's another capacity that you're here to be led out of what? Let out of where? Let out of Charleston? Let out of Illinois? Let out of the United States? Let out of your comfort zone? Let out of perhaps some preconceived notions that you've gained over the years? And, you know, it's important that at EIU you develop an open mind, and I think Study Abroad does that. Socrates claimed to know nothing at all. But instead he questioned everything and everyone around him, even those who claimed to know everything. He believed that education wasn't just a tangible thing that you get for status or for wealth purposes or personal standing, but it was a personal state of possessing an open mind throughout the course of your life, and quoted a capable of endless wonder and questioning. So, educere, which is primarily what I think I'm responsible for at EIU in terms of educating in that regard, it really transcends college degrees and professional accolades and fosters independent thinking and leadership. And as honors students and rising stars, I presume that you are leaders on campus. And I presume that you hope to be leaders in your professions and your careers when you leave this institution. Speaking of leadership, a retired business professor from Stanford Graduate School, his name was James Marsh, he put together a very interesting film on leadership. And it had to do with a novel that was written in Spain called Don Quixote. How many of you have read Don Quixote de la Mancha? Okay. Don Quixote, the documentary that he put together, the film, was called Passion and Discipline, Don Quixote's Lesson for Leadership. And this novel, if you haven't read it, it's about a man who lived in a village called La Mancha, and he dreamed of knights and fighting giants and saving maidens, and he mortgaged his house, and he went out and decided that's what he was going to do. Most people thought he was a little crazy. He found a companion in his village to help him, and he went out and did it. A bit odd form of leadership to model, but there were some things that James Marsh drew out of Don Quixote's qualities that I think are critical, and there are qualities that you gain through study abroad and through educere. One is imagination. Don Quixote, he would see an inn and he would imagine a castle. To him, a herd of sheep, he saw a herd of sheep and it was actually an army. Or a peasant girl he saw as a princess. He saw things that others couldn't see, and great leaders in general, they always imagine a world that others can't see until it's right in front of them. Imagination is necessary for new ideas, for growth, development, globalization, and a happy life. And I guarantee that if you study abroad, you will develop more imagination. The second thing that he drew out of Don Quixote's qualities was commitment. The meaning of your life is really what you commit it to. So if you don't know who you are, then look at what you're committing your life to, and you'll find the answer. Although Don Quixote faced many disappointments and he was discouraged, he found his passion was not for success, but for fulfilling a sense of himself. He wasn't disciplined by incentives or consequences, but by his own identity. And I think through study abroad, you will also develop your own identity, and you'll develop courage to become the kind of leader that you would like to become. And the last quality that he drew out was joy. And that goes along with, well, how do you sustain your creativity? How do you succeed when you know you're going to fail a lot before you succeed, and you have to fail before you succeed? And that's through sense of humor. Through joy, Don Quixote, he found sanity in his identity rather than in the reality, and he was more committed to his will than he was to the consequences of things happening around him. With study abroad, the possibilities are really endless, and endless for EduSeri. You can take courses abroad, you can intern abroad, you can do service work abroad, you can go with a group of students, or you can go on your own. There's really an endless array of possibilities here at EIU. We have scholarship money, we have a dedicated staff and faculty here that will help you to study abroad, and it's very possible for you to do whatever you want. And if you don't find a program that we have, you can customize one. One such program for honor students is Harlexton College in Grantham, England, and they have a curriculum that's very well suited to honor students. Although you're very open to study abroad anywhere that fits your particular career goals, I thought I'd mention that since that is an important program, is particularly for honor students. It allows you to study in the UK and also travel on the weekends and explore the continent of Europe. Thank you very much.